there kind of wondered where my influences were. And Art Bell was my influence. I mean, I can remember as a little kid sitting, listening to Art Bell. And if you're not familiar with Art Bell, you probably heard of George Norrie. George Norrie does a show called Coast to Coast AM, which is right here. And I think he broadcasts it right here in Los Angeles, doesn't he?
I don't know where he's broadcasting from these days.
I'm going to say it is in Los Angeles somewhere. And, of course, Alex Jones and, Infowars.com. Alex actually broadcasts in Texas, and then he's got another broadcasting back in my hometown of St. Paul. One of his co-hosts broadcasts live from St. Paul, Minnesota. But, that's exactly what 32 Degrees Insanity is all about. We're about getting we like to talk about the esoteric. We like to talk about the celestial bodies out there. We like to talk about Freemasonry. We like to talk about the Illuminati. There's so many things that we enjoy talking about here. But last week or 2 weeks ago, we did a whole show on Robin Williams' death, and that was just a terrible thing. But today, 10:13 in the a.m. here, local time, Joan Rivers died.
It's karma.
You think?
Yes. When you say that the Palestinians should just stop breathing, and then you stop breathing a couple of days later, that's karma.
And that's what I said. I said that on my Facebook, and I even though I've enjoyed Joan Rivers over the years. I really have. I thought she was a very funny lady. However, when she said that, my mouth almost dropped because there's so much going on over there in Palestine and Israel. And, I mean, we're seeing, we saw these videos of these 3 kids that got massacred out there on the beach. We saw...
hold on. Let's let the audience know. These are 5 and 6-year-olds.
Exactly. 5 or 6-year-old kids. There were 3 of them, 4 of them. I mean, the video was absolutely just horrid. I couldn't even watch it.
I saw a video of Israeli soldiers sniping kids playing on rooftops for fun.
Was it you that I saw that showed that there was supposed to be Palestinian rebels and they had their uniforms on and one of them had the Star of David around their neck and they go busted? Was that you that made that?
Yes. Yes, it's all a stage. It's all controlled, and I've been tapped into the Gaza energy pretty heavily. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you saw that song and video that Sheree and I put together, but it was very, very hard. And the reason that I was able to do that was because I literally tapped into that energy so I could feel everything that's going on over there. And so it's really heartbreaking that people would actually support the murdering of children. I don't care about your politics. Right. I don't care about your religious disputes. I don't care about anything like that. I care about the life of innocence. I've come to a realization that there's only 2 elements in this world, and that's light and darkness. And Jesus talked about light significantly. I'm actually doing a movie. This is the first time I'm talking about it. But I started working on this project a little while ago, and it's actually going really, really well. It's called The Lucifer Deception. And in the beginning, I talk about Jesus. And I quote a lot of the stuff from the Bible where he's talking about, you are the light, I am the light, I'm the light of this world. There's one passage I don't remember off the top of my head, but he says, I'm the light of this world as long as I'm on earth. And then there's another passage, and it's Matthew 5:14. It says, you are the light of the world, like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden. So he's telling us that we are the light bearers now, that he came and he bore the light, but he left this earth. And so now it's our jobs to bear the light. And it goes right back to my analysis that we are the messiahs, the messiahs for the new age. There's not one, there's going to be 7 billion. And we have to take on that role because first of all, these controllers, the power structures, they have the Bible. The Bible isn't some kind of secret occult knowledge that only you have as a Christian. They have it too. So they can make anybody look like the Antichrist, and they can make anybody look like the second coming of Jesus. And I think that's why I don't think that Jesus is going to come back. That when it says that Christ is returning, it's returning inside of us, and we have to take on the role as Christ now, and we have to start living in harmony with each other because we are the lights of the world while we're on earth. Jesus was very, very clear about this. So anyways, I kind of got ahead of myself, but my point is what's going on in Gaza and all this. We're talking about babies being murdered. Okay. Yeah. Again, I don't care about your politics. I don't care about your religions. We're talking about babies being murdered. And if you think I'm evil because I want to step in and save life, well, then that's a big problem to me because there's 2 elements here. There's light and there's darkness. And there's a third element too, which is justice. Light, I've started to define it as anything that saves or preserves freedom. Saving life saving life and preserving freedom. Those are the two elements of light. Anything that's darkness is a violation of life and freedom. So we can take a look at some of the situations in the Bible, for instance, and let's go to Egypt. So we had a situation where Moses went to the Pharaoh and asked him to let the Israelites go for 3 days to go pray in the desert. That's all he wanted, 3 days. And Pharaoh actually said, sure, no problem, go ahead. Right. And then God came down and he hardened Pharaoh's heart. Well, that's a violation of Pharaoh's free will, first of all. But it was ultimately to provoke the ultimate outcome. What was the ultimate outcome? The slaughtering of every firstborn in Egypt. Not every firstborn Egyptian, every firstborn in Egypt, including the slave girls and the cattle. That's exactly what it says. So we're talking about the slaughtering of innocents here by this supposed deity who's claiming to be God, who hardened Pharaoh's heart to begin with so he can create this situation so he can show his absolute power. That is demonic because those babies had nothing to do with anything. Justice is an equal reaction to darkness. So let's say you try to kill me and I kill you in the process. That's an act of justice. It's not an act of darkness. Right. You coming to me and trying to kill me is an act of darkness. So so God went to Pharaoh and punished Pharaoh by killing all the firstborn innocents in Egypt because of some sin that Pharaoh was supposedly committing. That's not an equal reaction to justice. That is a work of darkness. So when you start taking this element, life and freedom, and using that as light, and I believe that when Jesus says, I am the light, you are the light, over and over and over again, right. I mean, it even goes into the other books that Paul wrote. We are the children of light. We're not a children of darkness. It is just over and over and over again, pounding it into your head that you are light. You are light. Light is life and freedom. Anything that violates those two is darkness. So you have to start looking at all these situations from that angle. Did those babies in Gaza deserve to die? No, they did not. I don't care, like I said, I don't care about your politics. I care about those innocent lives. Did the innocent lives in Egypt deserve to die? No, they did not. If it was God punishing Pharaoh for something, directly, well, that's different. That could be, considered justice, but he didn't do that. What he did instead was slaughter the firstborn and the babies and the innocents. That is purely demonic, and we need to start seeing things and calling things for what they are.
Well, the Old Testament, some people even say, and even I kind of agree with this, that the God of the Old Testament was a very evil God. And he was, or it or she or whatever it was, it had this evilness to it, and it could have been Satan itself, because
it is.
Exactly. And the God of the New Testament is this fun-loving, forgive you of all your sins, blah, 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 blah. But still, that God put his own son up on a cross, supposedly.
Well, according to the Gnostics, Jesus actually spoke out against the God of the Torah and called him a soul-sucking reptilian. He described him that way. And that he's a false God, that he's the demiurge. The demiurge is this entity that wanted to be God and wanted to pretend it was God, and everything that we attribute to Satan and even Lucifer. And the tie between Satan and Lucifer is interesting in itself because it actually comes from a fictional work called Paradise Lost. And it's some required reading for a lot of Christians as well. But it's a fictional work. There's no dispute about whether it took place or not. It is a fictional work, and it talks about the fall of Satan or the fall of Lucifer turning into Satan, et cetera, et cetera. What I think that the Lucifer consciousness is the wisdom, is the same thing that the churches have been demonizing since the beginning of time, which is wisdom, the light inside of you. I mean, Lucifer, when you take those two words and put them in a Latin lexicon, you get Lucy and you get fur. Lucy means light, fur means carrying or bearing, or a bearer. So bearer of the light, the bringer of the light. Jesus talked about he's the bringer of the light over and over and over again. He even says in the end of Revelations, I am the bright morning star. And I am the light bearer. I am here to bring you the light. There's nothing